next week. Hopefully. Right? Hopefully. Junior Nubis or JR. Whatever. Either way. What do I use? Do I use Netflix, cable, Hulu, torrent? I try to keep it real up in the field, y'all. I use like a TV. It's a weird thing called DVR. I do that, but I also do have Netflix for older shows and stuff. So, and
Did
right
you
now,
say,
what?
No, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, right now I'm watching like older episodes of like True Blood and I don't know whatever. Netflix is great for that. But anyway, what were you saying, Colt?
I was just walked back in and I heard you say, I like to keep it real up in the field, y'all. And I was like, did he really just say that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
There's that Minnesota street talk that you're hitting us up with.
I'm only about 10 years behind, so I think I'm catching up, which is good.
Right. That's really good. That's so rad.
Yeah.
It's so rad. Totally tubular.
Oh, yeah. All right. I need to figure out exactly what's going on. By the way, guys, you might want to read the leading the raid thing just so you're kind of used to it, because it's a little bit different than ways that I've been thinking about stuff. So it's like a mind flip, and I'm like, well, I know what the right answer is, but I know what my answer is anyway. But it's...
What?
Yeah, I know. It's a little weird.
What the heck?
It's a weird
way
they
of
must.
Are they talking about in a raid team,
Yeah,
or are they talking about an LFR?
Yeah, raid team. Not an LFR.
So I'm putting in names, and what am I looking at?
You are looking at leading the raid. And there he goes. With his mute button.
I know, that is a strong mute button. It's like pow. It's like a giant red button that he...
Yeah, sometimes...
That time, I cut it off mid-sentence. I was like,
sometimes...
And then I went away.
Well, but sometimes it is kind of harsh, Solar.
Oh, weird. So tell Skype that. I don't want to manually hit the button.
Like last week, it was harsh. I don't know what was going on, but when you hit mute, I heard this snap.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I can...
No, I'm not that violent.
I can edit it out most of the time, but so when you mute, you want to make sure that you mute in the pauses if you can.
Yeah. I don't know why I was doing that.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Ooh, Betamax. I remember the beta days.
Betamax. Oh, yeah. Betamax was so great, but at the same time, couldn't do it.
What I loved was my family growing up thought that beta was going to be the future. So we got rid of all of our VHSs and converted everything to beta and just bought beta movies. Mm-hmm. And, well, you know how that came out because there aren't any betas. And well, actually, you know what? Nowadays, there's no VCRs either.
Yeah, I know.
So I guess the VCR didn't make it.
Yes. All right.
Everything's digital now, man.
I know.
Everything is digital. No more giant DVD libraries. Everybody just gets it on their phone or on their computer.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think DVDs are the only thing, because there's so much data on them, or there can be anyway, especially when you're talking about Blu-rays. I mean, Blu-rays are a different beast, I think.
You can get a lot of those extras now through iTunes and stuff like that if you buy it.
Right. I know you can, but I mean, some people just don't like to mess around with that. I don't know. Some people.
I'm telling you, man, I have a large DVD library that I love, but I'm telling you that it's extinct. Going into the future, there's going to be nothing physical that we're going to hold anymore. It's going to be all digital.
Right.
I'm telling you. It's all going to be downloaded. You're going to download everything to your TV, your phone, your everything. There's no longer going to be a DVD collection.
Conspiracy theory.
I'm telling you. It was in the grassy knoll. I mean it.
Nice. I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back, and then we'll start the show.
All right. Okay.
Boo.
Oh, I got to find out.
It didn't scare you?
What his name? Ah!
There we go.
Is that what you want?
I was looking for that reaction.
So much to do before the show. All right, got that. Got my letter.
What? Ooh. What's going on?
No, we're all right.
Okay.
I tried to scare Coltrane, but I didn't quite get the reaction I was looking for.
Okay.
I failed you. I'm sorry.
Hold on 1 second here. I need to restart the recording. Okay,
oh, man, I cannot wait till we do Garelon on normal.
Yeah?
Because fire mages just tear it up on that fight.
Oh.
Like, insane. Because the damage, when you do our Inferno Blast, it gets spread to all the legs, so you're hitting him plus all 4 legs at the same time. Like, I wasn't even potted or anything, and I was doing like 110k DPS like throughout the entire fight.
What?
It was, seriously, it was amazing. I was at 110 and 109, and number 2 on the list was at like 68k DPS.
Right.
It's amazing.
Hey, do you guys, we are probably going to be talking about the Battle.net World Championship, and I don't have the latest results on everything. On the raid side.
I don't either, because it was 4 a.m. and I was like, I need to go to bed.
I'm not watching this anymore.
Well, we can just catch up on it. We don't have to say what actually happened.
Should we do it into a funny thing like we're going to edit those bits in now or something, you know, like
sure.
And then it'll cut to you and you'll be like during the edit and you'll be like, the winner is blah blah blah.
Right.
You know, and like
right.
funny voice or something.
Yes. Well, I mean, I know that like Snuts and Company won. Or I'm pretty sure that they did. I think they did. I couldn't stay up for it.
And now it's late, man.
Yeah, I know.
But over there, it's like 3 p.m.
I know.
It's like no big deal.
Stupid time zones.
Right.
Why can't
stupid world.
Right. Stupid globe.
Right.
Why can't we just all be facing the sun at the same time?
Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Jules.
Globe.
Snuts and Company did win. Which is good because they broke the curse. Okay, are we ready?
I feel unprepared.
We're always unprepared on this show. How is that different?
That's a valid point, really.
We just
Oh wait, oh my gosh, I realized what it was.
We just
Holy cow.
Oh yeah. You gotta
guys. I gotta tell you, the best part of waking up is convert to raid in your cup.
You stalled out.
I did. I stalled out.
You stalled out. You went the best part, and then you.
That's right, baby. That's right. I wanted everyone to like lean forward, like here it comes.
Right. Oh, we gotta look out. It's Packers versus Bears today.
Bears.
Big rivalry.
Bears.
Man. I used to love watching the Bears, man. How is Refrigerator Perry? How's he looking? Mike Singletary?
Yeah, he's kind of looking like Singletary right now.
They just need to give the ball to Michael Singletary, and the fridge will block.
Right.
It'll be a great game.
Right.
About 20 years ago, but that's all right.
I saw that's the actual recap. Okay. Thank you, Ro. Ro gave me the recap so we can take a look at this while you're not doing anything because I'll be in the show. Here, I'll just put this right here. Bam. There we go.
No, where's Wreckful?
The link is down at the bottom here of the thing, so you can actually check it out. But I know that Stars won the challenge mode, and that's the important thing.
Add that?
No, that's not the important part. In the grand finals, where's Wreckful commentating? And then the lower brackets, they had Wreckful, who used to play a rogue, and now he's playing a warrior. And he's the most just like chill, like just bro ever. And it was awesome to see him commentate these games, being such a legend. And then now he's not here, and Conrad's still there. And for God's sake, something about Conrad just screams like, duh.
Maybe we don't put that in the show.
I think we put that in the show, too. All right. Speaking of show, maybe we should get going.
Okay,
let's do it.
It is late.
Oh, yes, it's late. It's always so late when we start. All right, let's go in 3, 2. Welcome home, Raiders. This week we'll catch up with the latest in the Race to World First. There's more news about Patch 5.1, and we'll check out the Battle.net World Championship and a lot more. This is Convert to Raid number 71!
You're listening to Convert to Raid.
Convert to Raid.
The podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
From the Convert to Raid Command Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, today is November 18th, 2012, and it is now 11:17 a.m. Central Standard Time. I forgot to write in Standard Time on those show notes. Dang it! All right. Thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land, and hello, my name is Pat Crane, your host of the show. I'm also called Zug around here and around Earthen Ring, U.S., where I raid with my Resto Druid and my Hunter Zug. And the players... they are with me. Let's start in the barren desert in Arizona. He's a fellow raid leader and hunter and warlock extraordinaire. Solar Flare, hello, sir.
Hello. You surprised me. For some reason, I didn't expect you to call my name, and then you said it, and I kind of got jolted out of a stupor.
Wow. Were you just kind of...
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
So
How are you?
No big intro for you? All right. I'm doing well. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Would you care for some tea and crumpets or something?
I would love
This is a very
crumpets,
nice.
sir.
This is a very pleasant conversation, Solar.
I would love some tea and crumpets, Minister.
Right on. Okay, well, let's bring in another guy, maybe into this pleasant conversation that we're having from Hollywood, California. He is the maybe not so raging mage right now, but it's Coltrane. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
I've got a bit of a fortune cookie for you.
All right.
Maybe, if that's all right, if it's not too much trouble.
Oh, boy. Oh, bother.
All right, enough of this. It's time to bring on the raging mage. There's one thing that mages do, and that's rage, especially when they've got fortune cookies. Here we go.
Right.
Fortune cookies say...
Oh, bother.
Pop star Adele plays a mage because she's always rolling in the deeps.
Love it.
Boo. Boo.
That's
Yes.
a winner.
Boo.
That's a winner. All right.
Yes.
Boo.
Come on. What? That's
I
covered in WIN.
I actually saw that earlier this week from Dan Zanetti on Twitter. You
Yes.
reworded it a little bit, made it a little, just edited it up a little bit. But yeah, I saw that earlier in the week. Boo.
That is classic. The
Boo.
chat room is literally
Boo.
exploding. I'm seeing 10, 10, 10 from Rocktopus.
You got a 7 out of 10 from Ro. That's good.
Ro, come on, Ro. Ro. That guy, Ro.
Oh.
Well,
You
I
could
wanted to
even
say
go,
real quick.
Cole. No, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that if you guys have any fantastic, bad, terrible joke fortune cookies, let's bring down Zug together. So go ahead and email me at coltranectr@gmail.com. That's with a K, coltranectr.
Right. Or you can do the forums. Either way.
Go so far as to say that Adele could also play a warlock because she sets fire to the rain.
Oh!
Rain of fire. Oh my gosh.
You are blowing my mind, sir.
Happening
Blowing
here.
my
Oh my.
mind.
Lots of Adele playing WoW jokes. All right. Cool.
This is fantastic. See, the bad jokes are spreading. This is great. This is what I want.
Yes.
All right.
It's no good. It's no good. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing in WoW this week. Sola, let's start with you.
Again, Zug, stop doing that. I'm not ready for that. You just come right at me. A full frontal charge. What did I do this week?
Wow, full frontal? Eesh.
Full
Sorry.
body contact, Zug.
So what's been going on in your World of Warcraft this
Does
week?
Black Ops count?
No. No, that's a different video game.
My World of Warcraft time was limited this week.
Because
I'm not sure why. I just didn't get to log in that much. Nothing could have been,
there was
nothing could have been going around me.
Nothing like Black Ops or anything.
Of course, I don't even know what a Black Ops is. Is that like a new item they put in the game? I mean, come on.
I don't know. I think it's something from the Black Prince, actually. Black Ops,
I did get into LFR though this week and did new Heart of Fear. Went surprisingly well, actually. I ranked number 95 as a BM hunter on the Windlord. That was nice.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, you just spam AoE and then you kill it. Have you guys been on that one yet?
Fair enough.
You know what? I have not been on the second half of that yet because of timing and stuff like that. But
yes, in fact, there's what Solar's talking about is in that fight. There's a ton of ads. It's essentially just all ads at the top of it, right?
Yeah. Like that's it. It's like ads for 4 minutes, and you're just like multi-shot, 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 and then links rush, and then everything explodes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, all the ads, they all share the same health pool. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. In fact, actually, what I found interesting was I did the second half of LFR 2, and I found that the Amber guy was harder than the Grand Empress Princess at the end.
I would have to agree with that. There's more stuff in the Amber guy though that you have to like be aware of.
Actually,
and of course nobody is, so that's why it took a few times.
This week I actually did try to hop in there on my druid. I was going to heal for it, and there was something going on with LFR in the second half of Heart of Fear this week. A little bit of a bug, I think, and I went in there, got all set up, and then I realized that there was only 6 people in the raid group.
Right.
There were only 6 people, and there were tons of bones. That was everything. It was second boss, logged in, 6 people in the raid, tons of bones, and I went, you know what? I think I'm going to pass. I know what happened here.
Right. Right. When you see that, you literally go, uh-oh.
Right.
Like, you're in trouble.
I did not need Mr. Magoops to solve the case there.
Right. He leaves clues in his litter box. So,
right.
Mr.
Magoops is on the case.
He's on the case.
So, Coltrane, what have you been up to this week, my friend?
Well, I've got good news and I've got bad news.
Oh?
Now, what I find interesting is that most people like to hear the bad news first. And I always wondered that why. And I guess it's because you want to end on a high note.
Sure.
But because I've got 2 good news things and 1 bad news, good news outweighs the bad, so we're going to start with the good.
Okay.
So to start things off, a listener of the show named Zular sent us, our raid team, like over 20 Golden Lotus for the team.
That's awesome. And we actually talked about this last week. It was a little bit of a name kerfuffle, right?
Right. Yes, we did bring this up last week.
This was actually my bad because we did this after the show, and then I forgot to put it back in there. So I apologize. My apologies. Bad producer. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's all good. So basically, he just sent us a nice letter saying, I know how hard these are to get, so this is for your team, the Asparagus Initiative. Good luck in the future. So I wanted to say a big shout-out, say thank you. So that's the first good news. Number 2 good news, I got my 2-piece bonus off Shaw of Anger.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. How crazy is that?
That's awesome.
Oh, I remember
blown
now.
away. Right.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Colt needs to finish. Colt, finish. Just finish.
Well, it kind of dispelled this rumor that Shaw of Anger only drops gold.
Right.
And that's pretty much all I've ever gotten. So I wanted to say this to everyone out there, that there is hope. There still is some magic out there that the Shaw of Anger may drop your tier piece. So I was very fortunate. I got the legs weeks ago, and then I just got the gloves this week. And I didn't even have to use my bonus roll off Shaw.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got the gloves.
That's great.
It's amazing.
That's very cool.
So go ahead, Solar. What were you saying?
I know. There is hope, you guys. Something happened this week. There was something inside of the Shaw.
Whoa.
I got, out of my 3 characters that did it, 2 of them came out with loot.
Nice.
And 1 of them got a tier piece.
Hey.
Right.
So
What was the Shaw this week?
The Paladin got tier legs. So that was, I would have preferred the Warlock to get tier legs, but I can't really be picky. I mean, come on. At least I got some loot. So.
Right. And you gotta enjoy that. I know that I did Shaw and nothing. Got nothing.
Right. It's a really great feeling when you get something and then all you see in chat is like, more gold, and you're like, not me. I got loot.
Right.
It's like a nice little feeling.
Right.
Okay. Now, it's time to move on to the bad news.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a letter. I don't know if you can hear it here. This is our letter that was sent to the show. In fact, Zug, if you could help me out, maybe with a little music.
Sure.
Set the mood.
Here we go.
Thank you. This is for all the mages out there. This was a letter sent in from one of our fellow mage brethren. So if you're a mage, I'd like you to bow your head while I read this letter. Unless you're driving. That's not a good idea. All right. Coltrane, as a fellow mage, I thought you could help me out with a big problem I'm having with recount. Now, what the problem is my recount appears to be broken, and I just don't know how to fix it. See, every time I'm in a group, be it a 5-man, 10, or 25, even questing with a friend, this problem still occurs. Now, what is going on is, no matter what happens...
Hold on one second. I'm sorry. For the guys in the chat room, I apologize. This music is cutting you out, so we need to do it with Sans music, and then we'll edit it back in. We'll edit it back in.
We'll do it live with no music. Man, I was just building.
I'm sorry. So
all right,
ahead.
it's okay.
I apologize.
Take 2. So I'm going to start it over from the top.
Yeah.
Coltrane, as a fellow mage, I thought you could help me out with a big problem I'm having with my recount. Now, what the problem is my recount appears to be broken, and I just don't know how to fix it. You see, every time I get in a group, be it a 5-man, 10, or 25, or even questing with a friend, this problem still occurs. Now, what is going on is no matter what happens, I'm always number 1 on recount. I'm never number 2, ever. I even fell asleep in LFR yesterday and was still number 1. How can I fix my recount other than just re-rolling a different lame-o class? Mage power! Yeah,
boy.
Baby!
Oh, boy.
Yeah! Oh, that's what I love. That is a great letter. Thank you very much.
I thought something horrible and traumatic was going to happen, and then he was just being snarky, and then it just was like, way to go.
Right.
Giving a bad name to all mages.
Oh.
Yes, mages.
Oh.
Great letter sent in by a fellow mage brethren. See, right now, all the mages of the world are cheering right now. And the rest of you are full of booze and anger. But anyway, I thought it was a great letter.
We're full of booze? Yummy. Sorry. So now, are fire mages really that OP? Is that the deal?
No, not at all. In fact, buff mages.
Always
you
buff
hear me,
mages.
Blizzard? Buff mages.
I don't think they need it. Either that or the recount people really need to work on their stuff.
Right, exactly. But seriously, buff mages. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right, it is ridiculous.
Great
All
letter.
right.
Thank you.
All right. I know that for me this week, we were still talking about this week. My other raid team, good to the last drop. We finally cleared Garajal, and then also got the Spirit Kings down. So, for those guys, congrats! We did it, and that's the important thing. So it's just been a fun little week, and then we tried out the first boss a little bit and wiped a bunch. But I tell you, the first boss of Heart of Fear is actually pretty fun. Zorlok, right? Actually,
yeah, I think he's a jerk. I really think Zorlok's a big jerk.
I love him. I love him to
Sometimes
pieces.
he stays on his platform too long. Sometimes if he has to inhale, he stays there longer, and we'll get 3 force and verbs.
Yep.
I just think he's a jerk. He's not consistent. So if you were gonna date Zorlok, he would never show up.
Don't date Zorlok.
He would always be 40 minutes late.
Well, and then plus he'd probably send out those little swirly things and kill you. I mean, you don't want that on a first date.
Absolutely, and forget about picking up the tab. There's no way.
Right.
No, forget that.
Mm-mm. Either way, you're screwed.
Congrats, though. I mean, you're right. It's a really fun fight, but you're right. What Solar's talking about is when you do it, he's supposed to transition at a certain percentage, but sometimes he's like, yeah, maybe not. So it's kind of difficult.
He stays on his platform and does an ability he should have already flown off.
I like what True Noir says in the chat room. He says he would take you to a fancy fish dinner and never call you back. That's what Zorlak would do.
That's right. That's Zorlak.
He's such a jerk. But it's a fun fight to just try, and even if you're wiping on it, it's still kind of fun. So because the first 3 phases are really not. I mean, you get used to everything, but then that last phase when everything comes together and he's shooting out all sorts of different stuff at you, woo, little chaotic.
It is. Well, and it's funny because in that last phase, when all of his abilities happen at the same time, you're almost hoping for the disc's attenuation. Because when that happens, like when we get that, like let's say he's done another Force and Verve and we barely made it, and then he throws out the disc, I'm like, all right, we got this. You know what I mean? Yep. Like I got a good feeling.
Yep.
So we just run around and just continue to DPS him.
Right. And I
but
finally
Force and Verve, that hurts.
Yeah, it does. And I finally mastered the sneaking between the discs as they're flying out. Instead of running around in circles, I'm now dodging a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm trying that out, especially in LFR where it hurts a lot less. I was trying that out, really trying to master sneaking between those things instead of running around. It's working out pretty well.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have to give it a shot. I still like the circle run.
Yeah, it's definitely easier if you do that, especially if you're DPS. That way you don't have to let off at all. I don't know. All right, let's get into some old school.
Hit it. Kicking it old school. That's right.
That's right. It's time to briefly talk about our guild of level 70 raiders on Korgath US. Sola, what's been happening with iTunes?
Briefly, what if I had something really important and exponential to say?
Well, then you could say
What do you mean
it.
briefly chat about it?
Whatever.
I'm just kidding. Let's see. What are we doing this week? Last week, we went and finished Black Temple. That's right. I think, did I mention that last time?
Yes.
I did.
No. You did. You finished Black Temple last week. I think you had a couple bosses left on Black Temple.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got into Black Temple, and we killed the Council, and we killed Illidan, and I was so happy that we were actually wiping, because I just wanted to see some deaths, because it's been so easy after that point.
Right on. Well, grats to the folks over at iTunes. Woo! That's awesome.
Hey!
Getting some bosses down.
Then we went into Sunwell and did about an hour and a half's worth of trash.
Yeah.
Before leading up to Caligos and wiping. So that was a nice end to it. A good bit of deaths goes a long way. Right so I think this week we need to go back into Black Temple because I want more tier 6 for people. Right. And then we'll just continue to lock out as we did before.
Cool.
That's awesome. Because last week you were talking about how easy these bosses were and you weren't, having the challenge. So in a way, wiping is good. It's really good for a lot of reasons, but.
And don't tell anybody that I may or may not have been doing this on purpose. But if you yank the Flame of Azzinoth on Illidan too far away from the Blade of Azzinoth, he goes enraged and he kills everybody.
Ooh.
What? Why would you do that on purpose?
I said may or may not have. I don't know.
Well, why is there even a may in that sentence? That's my question.
I didn't say anything. What are you talking about?
Solar.
Fly.
Are you being sneaky?
Are you causing some trouble today?
Right. Mm-hmm. So the plan for this week is what? Did we talk about
more Black Temple because I want to see some more tier 6 go out and then working into Sunwell.
Cool. Well, that's good that the team got into Sunwell and saw some stuff, even if it was just trash and won the beginning of a boss fight, basically.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's cool. That's awesome. All right, let's move it along to the official raid team of Converge Raid. That's right, it's the one that we're talking about right now on the show, the Asparagus Initiative. And we're going to switch it up this week. This week, Coltrane. I want you to tell us what we did last week. What did I do last week? I'm switching it up. Sometimes you got to just, a little bit more whatever.
Well, Zug, you caught me off guard. I don't know what
why
to
am
say.
I catching everybody off guard? We're doing a show. Be ready.
Completely caught off guard here. I'm just dumbfounded here. I don't know what to say.
Oh, boy.
Well, hey, man, the AI, the Asparagus Initiative, a group of 10 heroes with one common goal, to try not to wipe as much on Elegon. But that didn't really happen.
No.
That's all right.
That didn't.
We went in there, we one-shot. Or no, it wasn't a one-shot. It was a few shots of the first boss in Heart of Fear. We kind of got that guy down. That's feeling good.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do, too, with on that final phase, when he does those discs. If he throws up another Force and Verve, woo, doggy, that's no good.
Right.
That's a lot of DPS going out. So we did the discs, which was great, and then we headed in, and we took on Elegon. Now, what's funny is, when I look around, there's so many people that still have not killed Elegon.
Yep.
And a lot of people are finding that Elegon is actually tougher than Will of the Emperor. And I've seen complaints. I've seen complaints on the forums at Blizzard saying, Blizzard, you need to nerf Elegon because everyone is stopping on this fight. There's like a big wall. And Blizzard's response, I find it interesting. They said, listen, once you know the mechanics, the fight's not that bad. You just got to learn the mechanics, the transitions, what to do. And I will say this, we made a lot of progression.
We did.
On Elegon. We did not get him down, but we made a lot of progression. From where we started at the beginning of the night and where we ended up was in a good place. We were getting to phase 3. Now, when I say getting to phase 3, I really mean we survived for about 5 seconds once phase 3 began. It's one of those where like, all right, here's phase 3. I'm down. I'm down. Like that's all it was.
Right.
But it was awesome. But it was a really good night for the team, a good night of progression. And it was fun. It was really a good time.
Now, from a healer's perspective, here's what I'm going to say some stuff here. Beginning of phase 3, I had no juice. Never. I never had actual mana to speak of.
Right.
I mean, we're two healing this fight as you're supposed to do for this fight. I think that's kind of the common strat is two heal. And I think at one point I may have had 8% when I went into phase 3, 8% mana. Well, that's gone in about, say 0.5 seconds.
Right.
As soon as phase 3 starts. You're done. Okay. Defensive cooldowns. Let's run them. But it was definitely not easy healing that fight.
Yeah, so. It really is. And it's all those ads. And what I'm curious is what we were trying to do in phase 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious what you guys think of this, if this is a huge mistake or not, is, at the beginning of the fight, DPS, you can kind of stand on that edge. And just by jumping, you can kind of transform back to normal, and then you go back to Starman. And you get that nice damage buff and all that stuff. So at the beginning of the fight, you're there, and you can kind of jump to kind of reset your stacks. Now, what we were trying to do in phase 3 was get back into that sweet spot, again on phase 3. Mm-hmm. But the problem with that is right on that outer ring, there's a big wall, a wave of death that's just spinning around the room.
Right.
And what I'm finding is a lot of us are trying to find that sweet spot, and in the process getting murdered by that wall of death.
Yeah.
So I was talking to some people who do the fight. What they do in phase 3 is they just run in and all stack underneath the boss and just burn him like crazy. I don't know. That could be another way to possibly do it.
There are multiple avenues to approach phase 3.
Well, that would be better for AoE heals, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just to make sure that.
But in the same tangent, you also want to be resetting your stacks, and the longer it takes you to get out.
But if it's just a DPS race at that point, I don't know.
Right. Like what I heard is in phase 3, you try to reset them like right at the beginning, but then you just burn, because I hear once you get up to like 15 stacks or 20, it becomes unhealable, like the amount of damage. But I don't know, if you've got 8% mana on your best try, it might be at 3 stacks when it's unhealable.
And I'm thinking about switching out trinkets and trying to get more spirit and, beefing that stuff up. So we'll see if I can make it work tonight. We'll see.
Right. But a lot of people are saying they don't even reset their stacks in phase.
Yeah, that's cray. I don't know, man. I just can't. Like, I believe it. I believe it. I do believe it, that it does happen, and I'm sure there's been kills that happen, but it's just hard to believe. I mean, I totally believe it. It's just hard to do it.
Sure.
Well, it's funny because just in regards to these bosses, like, I just got this feeling deep inside that once we get down Elegon, we're going to, like, two-shot Will the Emperor. Like, it's not going to be an issue. You know, I just got this feeling. It's funny.
Wait, hold on a sec. I just got that feeling. Isn't that an REO Speedwagon song? I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm constantly quoting REO Speedwagon on the show if I can. Yes.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it was like Jules and Rem on the Torn Think Tank podcast. Their raid team, they were going up against Garajal, and they couldn't get Garajal down. That was kind of another little breaking point, like a little gate, right? So they got him down, and then they, like, pretty much two-shot Spirit Kings, like, no big deal. You know what I mean? It was, like, easy. So I wonder if Elegon is going to be the same way, where we've kind of hit a wall with Elegon, and then we're going to get him down, and then boom, Will the Emperor, no big deal. So I don't know. I think tonight, Solar, we're going up against Elegon tonight?
Yeah, I think we're devoting all of our time, all of our block tonight towards Elegon.
Ooh, let me get some more gold on my tune before I go in there.
Hey.
I think I might need it. No.
Hey, buddy, where's the confidence? Come on, you got to, like, visualize success.
Visualize, and succeed.
That's right. But that's good. I don't know, man. I got a good feeling. I think we're going to do well against Elegon tonight. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, I know that we were getting close. I think that last week it was actually pretty good for us. Just a couple of little bumps to iron out, and I think we're getting there. That's the important thing. All right. Hey, I just want to remind you guys about the Signals Media All-Star Network. If you guys want to hear more podcasts about video games or entertainment or music or whatever, head over to signalsmedia.com. There's a new show over there. Show with myself and Jules from Torn Think Tank. It's not anything about WoW. It's about TV. It's that thing that's on behind me right now, that TV thing. And it's called That TV Show, and it's all about U.S. shows mostly, but I'm sure that we'll probably get into some U.K. and Canadian shows as well. So
it's a great show, man. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had the first show last week, and it's out right now. And it's so if you want to go over to signalsmedia.com, just click on the link for the podcast, and you'll be set up to listen to the show. Don't have the iTunes information quite yet. It's submitted, though, so that's all that matters. All right, let's move it into the news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
It's time to check out what's happening in raiding news around World of Warcraft. And first up, normal difficulty Terrace of Endless Spring opened this week. And we see, a bunch of people cleared it. Is this any? Are we still in practice mode for heroics here, Soliflay?
Yeah, a lot of the guilds that you see, maybe that are like 3 out of 4 in there, are keeping the last boss available so they can keep testing and preparing for the heroic mode, because they're in no race for normals. We all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, no one cares about the normal mode progression. Yeah. They're all interested in the heroics, and they want to make sure that they're fine-tuned and ready to go when that launches next week. Well, so that's why you're seeing that some of the big guilds actually haven't finished it yet.
Right. Well, and when I looked on WoW Progress, I was actually kind of surprised that they actually had it on the progression for these different teams, and it seemed to actually play into their ranking as it stands right now. It seemed to, anyway. I'm not sure if it actually does.
Oh, yeah, it most certainly will. It very much will, although I believe that they put more emphasis on the heroic score, so they'll be up to top again. And I lost my train of thought, but yes, I believe the heroic really throws it back into alignment when the heroics come out.
Sure. Well, and heroics come out on Tuesday, along with the LFR version of Terrace of Endless Spring. And remember that with Terrace of Endless Spring, you have to have completed the Heart of Fear on that level. So if you're doing LFR, I think it even works for LFR that way, where you have to have completed Heart of Fear before you go into Terrace of Endless Spring. So it's progression, right? This is the progression run, if you will. So
right. This is it. And it's funny because a lot of people thought that you had to complete Mogushon Vaults to get into Heart of Fear.
Right.
And so obviously that's not the case. One thing now, let me ask you guys this. In Heart of Fear on the final boss, is the Shaw, is he the Shaw of anger? The Shaw of grumpy? Like, what is he the Shaw of?
Shaw of fear. Fear.
Is that the Shaw of fear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I like about the Heart of Fear instance, for those that haven't done it yet, like the second half, is that as you proceed on and you lead up to the Grand Empress, the place becomes more Shaw. I just thought that was kind of cool. Like, I was just looking around and there was more like Shaw stuff on the walls. Like, it was getting more and more corrupt. And the reason there's this gate, the reason you have to complete Heart of Fear is that when you kill the final boss, the Shaw of Fear gets all angry and he's like, I'm out! And then he just like leaves
right.
and then heads over to the Terrace of Endless Spring. So I'm really excited for Terrace. I cannot wait to see the heroic encounters in this because this is it, baby. This is the final, this is the big show. This is the big finale. The Terrace of Endless Spring. So looking forward to it.
Right. Well, and I know that a lot of, I feel like a lot of teams are not going to see Terrace for a little while yet because, I know that we've only killed one boss in Heart of Fear. So how long do you think it's going to take for normal, I guess, normal progression guilds? If there is such a thing as that, like quote unquote normal. How long do you think it's going to be before we start seeing like the majority of raid teams actually get into Terrace? Solar, do you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, a lot of people right now, like what we're doing is we're kind of trying to work through Mogushan Vaults because that was what we were, the card we were handed first, and we want to move on to the bigger and better fish, like the tier pieces out of Heart of Fear and Terrace of Endless Spring. So you still have a very large concentration of people in Mogushan Vaults. However, a little less than half of the raiding population has stepped foot and has killed the first boss in Heart of Fear. So that we are seeing the first two bosses, 30% on the second boss in Heart of Fear and 44% on the first boss in Heart of Fear, have been killed by documented raiding guilds on WoW Progress. And that is a fairly large number of raiding guilds. And people are starting to step foot into the Heart. However, 7% of those guilds have killed the Grand Empress, Shexir,
right,
opening up Terrace of Endless Spring for them. Now, just a little bit under 1% of that number have killed the first boss in Terrace of Endless Spring. So, you see how it's kind of a stepping stone. If you can kill the Grand Empress, you can actually get a boss kill in Terrace of Endless Spring. But I would say for a majority of the player base, it's going to take a few more weeks because only 7%.
Right.
Have the Terrace even open right now.
Right. Well, and maybe it's I know that they're going to do it at some point. I know that they're going to nerf content at some point. Even on the Battle.net World Championship stuff, I saw Ian Hazacostas over there, and he said that they haven't gone into effect at all. But come on, they know that they're built to nerf Mogushan Vaults and Heart of Fear for sure, and Terrace as well. They've built these systems into them for sure because they kind of have to, right? When do you guys think that this might actually happen, or do you? Coltrane,
I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a while. I think that well, I don't know, man. You're right, but it's so many bosses. Yeah. And unless Blizzard is clearly seeing that no one is getting past this certain spot, right? Because they have all the numbers, and obviously Solar does as well, which is awesome. But they're going to be able to tell, okay, the majority of guilds are wiping on this boss. They're just not clearing it. So therefore they can't get to, let's say, Terrace of Endless Spring. They're not clearing Heart of Fear. Or not many people can get past Elegon. So they're going to, you know what I mean? So I think once... I don't know, man. I'm hoping that it's months and months away because we've got so many bosses and so much content. For me as a raider, I really want to dig in and really, go for this. Like, we've barely touched Heart of Fear. And we're going to work on Elegon tonight, and we don't have to. But I think the reason is we just want to clear the place to be like, all right, we're done with Mogushan. It's time for Heart of Fear, Right. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be months away, and I hope it is months away. Because we got so many bosses to kill, so let's do it before they get nerfed.
Yep. Solar, you have any thoughts on the nerfing?
Yeah, it's not going to come for a very long time. I mean, you've seen that the majority of the people just haven't even stepped foot into Heart of Fear yet. It's not that they can't; they're just occupied with other stuff.
Right.
And there would be no reason for them to start nerfing content, 3 weeks, 4 weeks after it's already been released, unless it was just god awfully overtuned and drastic and such extreme measures. But that's not the case.
Sure. Well, and that would be more of a tuning. That would be more of a tuning thing anyway. So who cares?
Exactly.
But, yeah. And I don't think that they're going to do anything soon either. I think that they probably won't be nerfing Mogoshon Vaults until you see more teams get into Terrace.
Yeah, I mean, I would be hard pressed to say that we're not going to see nerfs until late January, maybe early February. That's still 3 months of this content. That sounds about a pretty good timeline. Probably a little bit after the holidays, or maybe into.
How long was it before they did nerfs?
February.
How long was it before they did serious nerfs on rating in Kata? I can't remember.
Jeez, when did the 5% nerf come in? It was quite a ways in.
I want to say it was like 5 months in, or 4 or 5 months in.
I wish I knew this number. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. It's.
The 5% nerf came in like 3 or 4 months after, didn't it?
Firestar said for Dragon Soul it was like 2.5 months, 2-3 months.
Are these facts, guys? Chat room. I need to know. Is this fact or conjecture?
Yes. Well, it seems 5% was about 3 months. That's
okay.
what the consensus from the chat room is.
So.
And then we didn't see the full 30 until 5 months out.
Right.
From that. So. Who knows? We could be seeing it, the initial nerfs for Mogoshon Vaults anyway, probably after the new year.
Yeah, I still think that's a good timeline, because I don't think any of the, who am I to say this, but I really don't think any of the bosses right now, as things stand, are really warranted for a nerf. Not yet.
They're fun.
Because you still have teams working on them like us. We only raid one night a week.
Right.
We don't get to put that time in as most other people do. But we're still going through content.
Right.
It's not like we're stuck on anything.
Well,
so,
and they're fun.
I think Blizzard knows that too.
I'm having fun with them. Dragon Soul, when you got stuck on a boss, it became like, okay, we're at this boss again. But this time around, I seem to be having more fun. Even if I'm wiping on these bosses, I'm having more fun. I'm involved. I feel like I'm just like truly in the moment when I'm fighting these bosses. It's great.
Yeah, there's some kind of magic dust in these boss fights or something, because you're right. You're absolutely right. For some reason in Dragon or in Cataclysm, the boss fights, when you'd wipe, it was just like, I don't know, there's something about the fights I just didn't like, but there's something about them that I just love. I just love these fights. I can wipe on Elegon all night and still be happy. I'm not like, oh boy, here we go. Like, it's always just great. So I don't know. I think you're right. There's something in the water here in this raid tier, because everyone seems to be really enjoying the boss encounters so far.
Yeah, and it's like you can talk about epic story and all this kind of stuff, but if the epic story falls flat on mechanics and overall play style, the feel of it, man, I tell you, who cares about story at that point? Bring me some good encounters, and these are definitely the ones that we've done so far. Love them. So
yeah,
I'm good with it.
And as far as the nerfs go, if it's like 3 months from now, according to Rob Pardo, that's when the new expansion's coming out. So we better get these nerfs going quick.
I don't think that's exactly what he said, but
all right, maybe not.
Maybe not. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about 5.1. Our good friend over at WoW Insider and Gamebreaker TV, Olivia Grace, she wrote a little thing about patch 5.1. The latest build is a release candidate. So, yeah, this could mean that 5.1 is coming soonish. I don't know.
It's en route.
Yeah.
5.1's on its way.
Yep.
So that's good. I'm really excited about it. I think a lot of people are. There's going to be a lot of new content. And for me, I'm pretty shocked that all this new content is coming out so quickly after the release of the new expansion.
Yeah, because it's only been a couple months.
It's great.
They already have a release candidate. Solar, do you think that that this means that they're going to be living up to their promise of being able to put out content faster and faster?
Well, it's a step in the right direction. We can't obviously take one example like this, which does seem to be what they've always been, that they said they were going to do, and say that this is word and this is now law, and Blizzard is always going to do this, but they are showing signs of possibly making this into a repetitive thing, which is good, because that's what they said they were going to do, and that's what I think it needed, because no one wanted to do a repeat of ICC, where it was just 9 months of frozen awfulness. Dragon Soul almost got to that point for me. I was almost about to just cry every time I zoned in.
Well, and isn't it harder at the end of an expansion to make new content? I mean, because it is the end of the expansion, right? So
they tried with Halion and they failed miserably.
Oh God, they
with
did.
That.
They really
absolutely did. Flat on their face. But I mean, we can't hold them to that exactly, because that was just a silly little, piece of popcorn out of the entire bowl of popcorn that they were making for the next expansion. So I mean, it was whatever. Right. But I don't even know if that analogy even works. But I think they could do it. I really do. Blizzard has potential to do a lot of great things with their game. I just don't know if that is really on their priority list.
And well, I mean, for me, I don't know about you guys, but this actually seems like it's coming out really quickly. I mean, considering
I don't have a problem with that, though. I mean, I think the MoP excitement is kind of dying down. People are getting into their routine, right? Some people have selected their dailies now. They're not doing all of their dailies. They're harvesting their crops. They're making sure they do their LFR each week. Things are kind of getting into a linear pattern here, and I think people are becoming more comfortable with this instead of saying, "Oh God, I have so much on my plate still." And I think that is a good gateway to move into a next patch where there will be more of that. And they can kind of shed some old baggage off of them and start some new stuff.
Speaking of which, I was scrolling through the forums earlier today, actually, and I saw this post from this guy who said that he had to unsubscribe to WoW because he just couldn't keep up with all the dailies. And one of the issues that he had was he brought up 9 characters to level 90, and now he's having a hard time keeping up with dailies. I'm like,
well, this is a very alt unfriendly expansion.
Yeah.
I found that out very quickly.
Yep.
When I had my second 90, and then I just thought I would throw in a third for good measure. But it's really not. I mean, if you really want to keep that edge, you need to make sure you're doing those dailies, and you need to make sure that you're doing your LFR each week, and 3 LFRs and Shaws, and making sure your Galleon's in check. I try and do that now. I've got like 4 kills of Galleon. But I mean, there are a lot of factors this expansion that really don't make it super duper alt friendly.
Right. No, it's true, and it's tough to keep up. I only have 2 characters at level 90, and that's all I'm working on a monk. Okay, my monk is now level 64, I think. And so I'm slowly working on this monk while trying to do all this other stuff. By the way, monk healing at that level, friggin' awesome. I love it so much.
Isn't Soothing Mist the only thing you get until like level 89?
No. It's there's a whole bunch of new stuff. Now I have Uplift, which is like totally awesome. So it's just renewing Mist and then Uplift, and that's about all you need to do. But you can still do the spinning Pat Crane kick, and you can still do all those other fun things that monks do, and it's just, it's phenomenal. And questing as a resto on your way up to level 90 is actually really nice, because if you're one-on-one, you cannot die. You can't.
Right.
Because as you hit, you heal yourself, which is awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
Which is awesome. Of course, it takes 20 minutes to kill a mob, but, whatever. Who cares? But anyway, so this guy has 9 level 90s, and now he's having problems doing dailies on all of them.
Right.
Oof.
Now, I gotta go ahead.
No.
Coltrane, go ahead.
No, you were starting, Solar. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I was going to say they are doing things to help alleviate some of the pain. They're making it so that your alts now gain a reputation and double the rate when you hit Revered, isn't that? When you hit Revered? I think it's when you hit Revered.
Right, but but they're going to do it a little weird, and they're actually having these grand commendations, I believe, which are you basically purchase this and use it, and then you can do double the rep or whatever it is. So it's kind of like one more step in the process.
But having the core of your gameplay based so heavily on repetitive questing each day, each week, for, for what some raiders would consider very mandatory items, those epics, those raider charms. Mm-hmm. I just don't like that as much as having the option to be able to not do that and still get the same rewards. Kind of like you saw with Cataclysm. You went through Deepholm, you maybe did a week's worth of daily quests to get Exalted, and it was fire and forget. You always had those, at the end anyway, I think they changed this. You always had those inscription enchants, right? Isn't it the shoulder? I think it was the shoulder out of Deepholm. Maybe it was the head. I don't remember. But
shoulder.
I kind of liked that. It was quick, it was easy, and you didn't have to worry about it anymore. But this, I have to go in every single week. And I just don't appreciate that as much. So
it's harder.
I gotta jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, you guys are insane. You're crazy. You're drinking the crazy juice. And I'm gonna ask you to set it down and not be so crazy. And here's why, in my opinion, is that for me, I'm like with this LFR and the LFR gear being 483.
Yeah.
There's really, you don't have to do these dailies to get this rep gear that's at 489. I think that everyone says there's so many dailies and you have to do these dailies. And Blizzard says, no, you don't have to do these dailies. But the players say yes. I think that there's one thing that maybe Blizzard didn't consider. And that is that a lot of MMO players are completionists.
Yeah.
Basically, when they see a quest, they have to do it. When they see a blue arrow, they have to do it. Even if they're given the option that they don't have to, they still have that need to do it. Right. And that's what's driving people so crazy, is they're saying, oh my gosh, I log in, I do 3-4 hours of dailies. This is ridiculous, Blizzard. Yeah. And Blizzard says, but you don't have to do this. But I think it's because people are completionists.
Yeah.
You know, a majority of MMO players, that's kind of who we are. And I don't think maybe Blizzard maybe considered that, is that you can't give too many options or too many things to do and just say, here, pick what you want. People are going to want to pick all of them.
I know. I was talking with Arcane the Fire Mage, and he's one of those guys. He is a completionist. He cannot help himself, and he has to do dailies. And I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy, because I cannot do that daily grind of the same old repetitive stuff. I'm not built for it. Whatever it is, I can't do it. I know that dailies are, dailies give 100% loot chance. You know what I mean? Whereas LFR does not. So if you're doing dailies and you buy something from that rep vendor, you have 100% chance of getting that. I understand that. 100%. But doing dailies and having 700 plus lesser charms in your bag, that does not appeal to me. And I don't feel pressured that I have to do it, which is also a good thing. I kind of want to do it, for Valor points and whatever. I mean, because it is nice, but do I have to do it? Do I feel like I have to do it? No, not really. Especially not with the next LFR tier out. And now this week, the third one comes out. So now I can get increasingly more chances to win gear because there are more bosses out there. So that's all a good thing. And now we're starting to see why that is optional. At the beginning, a little tougher to see. Now we're starting to see it. So
at the beginning of this expansion, especially if you were a raider, I agree. You had to do these dailies, and you had to get your rep up as quick as you could, because that was really the only way to get this loot, to get these gear, to get this gear before you stepped into Mogushan Vaults. But nowadays, like you were saying, with all the LFR and all these raid instances, you don't have to. You don't have to get these 489 pieces when there's 483 dropping in LFR. I think that desire to have to do these dailies isn't as strong. However, like I was saying earlier, I think for a lot of players, that doesn't matter. They see a rep, they got to get it to Exalted. Well, they see a blue arrow, they got to do that quest,
And some of it is Blizzard's own fault. That's the way they trained us. Over 8 years' time, they have kind of trained us to do things that way. Especially with Deepholm. You have to do dailies, and you have to do them every day because you want to get the enchant. Well, guess what?
That's a good point.
Now they're taking it a step back, and they're saying, you know what? that might have been a flawed system. And it's interesting. We've kind of talked. We've at least brushed this subject before, where we've talked about it a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's a different mentality, and I don't think that especially longtime MMO or longtime WoW players have really caught on to. But we're starting to see it now. So I think it's all a good thing.
I have a gripe that we need to grip, or at least talk about.
A gripe,
and that's the use of
you want to grip a gripe?
Valor points. Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I have a problem with this.
Okay.
Valor points. We get Valor points from numerous things in this expansion, and the only way to spend those Valor points is to unlock the either Revered or Exalted.
You can get stuff at Honored too, right?
Yeah, Honored and Revered. There's really nothing gear-wise at Exalted.
So gear from those like 489s and stuff like that, the only way to unlock those and spend those Valor points you earn from doing raids and heroics and some other stuff, I forget which gives you Valor points, is by doing your dailies. Now, for the entirety that I've played this game, badges, remember badges, and points have always been used to buy gear. Now, you just talk to a vendor. But now, you have to do a whole bunch of dailies to
unlock
those pieces.
Yep.
Now, what right now is Valor points doing? Just sitting there. I mean, I have a hefty sum of Valor points on a few of my tunes. But Lore, hello Lore in chat room, just brought up an excellent point that in 5.1 you'll be able to use those to upgrade your pieces of gear. So
exactly,
hooray! Something that I can actually use them for.
Yes.
But yeah, I just thought that was. I mean, heck, I'm so glad that they're doing that. But I just thought originally when that first came out, I mean, what am I supposed to do with these? Like, I really cannot. This sounds like terrible, but I really cannot do dailies to hit like those Shadowpan and August Celestial factions. I'm just so not interested in that.
Right. Yeah, and it is one of those things where they are in 5.1. There's going to be more ways to earn rep for sure because they have the new PvP style area in Krasarang Wilds, and so there's going to be new factions to grind rep with if you so choose. And there's going to be new ways to spend Valor points, especially with upgrades, where it'll upgrade your item level by 8 points, I think. So that is going to be a cool way to upgrade as well, where you can just kind of say, oh, I need a little bit more power. No problem.
Exactly. And I think what Solar was saying is that he's got these Valor points, but he doesn't have the rep to buy that gear.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like, so he's got, let's say, 3,000 Valor, but you need to be revered with Golden Lotus in order to buy this belt.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what's great about 5.1, and I think what's genius that it came out later, this upgrade system is going to be an amazing way to spend your Valor to upgrade those items and be good to go. And the thing is, too, with this LFR and all that stuff, you know, you need revered with Golden Lotus to buy a 489 belt. Well, you know, LFR, Heart of Fear, you can get a 483 belt,
right?
Which is pretty much just as good. So I think nowadays, it's a lot less, you don't have that need as a raider to do this reputation to get this gear.
The only caveat on that would be that to get this gear out of LFR and even normal raiding is that you want again, raiders want gear because they want more power and they want to be able to live longer and kill more things and all that kind of good stuff. But people want to get those 3 greater tokens for their chances to win more loot, right? So you can re-roll and win more stuff. So you know,
talking about the greater charms.
Yeah, the greater charm. Thank you. Had a little brain fart there. That's all right. So you know, you want the greater charms so that you can get more loot. And what do you get? How do you get those greater charms? You can only get that through dailies. So I mean, people are doing. I know that I try to every week get at least enough dailies done so that I can get my 3 charms, and hopefully roll for better loot, especially when I'm raiding.
Right. You know, it's so funny. I remember back in the day, and this was during Cataclysm, and they were talking about Mists of Pandaria. And they were talking about there's going to be this new system that we're trying for loot, where if you choose, you can do dailies or a certain number of something to get these coins if you choose, and then you can use these coins to get more loot. And back then it was like, oh, that's neat. Like, you'll have a choice. Like, if you want to put in the extra time, then you can, but you don't have to. But now it's like you have to, just because you want a bigger chance of getting loot. I just remember back then it was like, oh, so really only like the hardcore players are probably going to be grinding this stuff out to get these coins. But more social players won't really care. And it's just kind of a funny thing, like hearing about it back then and then seeing it in action now. I was in the same boat as you, Zug. This week, I didn't have enough coins. You need 90 of the lesser charms to get the 3 big coins.
Right.
So I was doing dailies because you're right. That's the only way right now to get these coins. I was doing these dailies just to get up so I can get my 3. So it's just kind of a funny thing how that is. You know, maybe more options to get the lesser charms would be great.
Right.
I mean, right now it's just through dailies.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's funny, too, because I was looking, I can't remember what week it was, but I was looking at my my tally for the week for the lesser charms. And I was at like, maybe a dozen lesser charms. And I'm like, okay, I need to do how many dailies? Oof, this is going to be tough.
Right.
And I'm like, I have 2 days before raid. You know what? I think this week I'm not going to roll. I'm not going to have those extra rolls. I'm just not. Oh, well.
Right.
Makes it a little bit tougher. I mean, it just doesn't give you those options, but it makes you hope for loot drops in raid.
No, it's true. And Laura was saying in the chat room, too, maybe put these coins in scenarios.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Or Crimson Shark said maybe in heroics or raids as well. Just another way to get these lesser charms. So you're not, in a way, kind of forced to do dailies. But you're not. See, that's the thing. Right. Blizzard has the ultimate defense. They can literally say to you, you don't have to do any of this. But I think we as players, and the majority of MMO players being completionists, now I'm not saying the majority, but everyone. No, I'm just kidding. But like, we, in a weird way, the player's mind almost doesn't have a choice. So I wonder if Blizzard, looking forward into the next expansion, is going to look back at Mists of Pandaria and say, well, the dailies thing was a good idea, but maybe we gave players too many options. I wonder if they're going to look back and say, maybe we gave them too much to do because we expected them to pick and choose, but instead they decided to do everything. Yeah. I don't know. I wonder, looking forward, if that would be something that they would look back. Because, when they look back at each expansion, well, in this one we tried this, but that didn't really work. And then they're always learning and always changing. I think that's the reason World of Warcraft has gone on for 8 years and is still the most successful MMO out there, is that they're constantly learning and changing the game. But I wonder what they're going to say about Mists of Pandaria and this dailies.
Right. Well, and I think that they're going to have to really take a look at who uses what content. I mean, how many people use whatever content. Like pet battles. I haven't even trained for pet battles.
Right.
Brawlers Guild will be an interesting thing to see how many people actually get into that and use it. And, rating, I know that they always check out the rating stats as far as how many teams are completing each level of raid content, or how many people are getting in, or how many people are using LFR. So they're always, looking at those numbers. But especially with the new content, I'm wondering, if they're going to take a look at reputations and say, okay, well, how did people do on reps? Was everybody at Exalted and doing more than they needed to, or were they, just keeping it mellow?
Right.
So
it's funny. There's some people I know that the first rep that they grinded up was Tillers, and all they've done in game is pet battles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, isn't that funny? Like, you haven't even trained pet battles.
No.
I know people that are like ranked on their server for pet battles.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the same thing goes with challenge modes.
Right.
I haven't done challenge modes at all.
Right. Well, I'm really scared to be honest. I'm a little nervous about stepping into that.
Which I think is really good, though, because in prior expansions, it was either you leveled up to max level, you got your heroic level dungeon gear, and you waited for the raid. But with this, there's just so many more avenues to explore, and I think that's really why MoP hit it home, so to speak, in all of the possible avenues players could partake in. And that is good because a lot of those avenues have a lot of depth to them.
And I see in chat room people are saying that I'm missing out because I don't have these things. And yes, I am. I'm missing out on this stuff. Why am I missing out on this stuff? Because I don't feel like I have time, especially when I have 2 different characters that I don't have time to mess around, so to speak. When I go into game, I have priorities, and those are not my priorities right now. And I don't think they can be, because I'm still trying to, get charms and trying to get gear and trying to do LFR and trying to do all this other stuff, and I don't have enough time. And I'm also trying to do, new podcasts and stuff like that. So, I mean, when do I have time? I don't really. So I have to really super prioritize my gameplay.
Well, Zug, I got to tell you, you haven't lived until you've taken a snowball to the face from Santa's Little Helper. Let me tell you, that's when you know you've made it. That is what pet battles are all about. Right. A snowball to the tailpipe from Santa's Little Helper.
Snowball to the tailpipe. Oof.
Right.
No, I'm in Minnesota, man. I've taken plenty of snowballs to the tailpipe.
Exactly.
Look out. I don't know. So, I mean, are you guys finding that that's the same way with you? Are you guys really having to prioritize your WoW time more? Solar, are you? I know that you have like a bunch of different tunes, so are you finding that you have to prioritize what you're doing every second in game, or what?
I mean, yeah, that's always a conscious thing in the back of my mind is, okay, well, how am I going to actually productively spend? I mean, of course, I'd love to fly laps around Orgrimmar and stuff like that, but it's true.
I have
to make sure, because, I mean, a very relevant example would be when Galleon pops up. I've got 390s who would love some loot. Mm-hmm. Which one needs it the most? And I log onto my Warlock, I go out there, I kill Galleon, I get gold, and I'm like, why did I even do this in the first place?
Yeah.
But it is very true. I mean, when you start to get up to those multiple character whats, when you start to get to more level 90s, that does become a very conscientious decision on how you're spending your time. So
right, yeah. I mean, there's no more lazing around Orgrimmar, that's for sure.
Yeah, darn tootin'.
The thing that I like, though, and I'll just make this real quick because I know we want to move on, but is that I like that when doing dailies, I can still get Valor points. I'm doing dailies to get these lesser charms, but I'm also increasing my Valor for the week.
Right.
I'm not having to run heroics. I'm not having to run scenarios to try and get Valor. I can just do it by just doing dailies. I feel progression with my character. I don't have that need like I did in Cataclysm, that I have to do a certain type of content in order to advance my character. Yep. Now, doing dailies, you don't get as much Valor as you would doing heroics, but at least you get some. I feel like I'm moving the needle. I'm moving the bar a little bit.
I do wish that they brought the even a modified tabard system back, something where you could grind rep while doing other things, and even if it was modified to the point where it was nerfed into the ground. So you're getting 1 point of rep for every kill in a dungeon or something like that. Even that would help me out personally, because then I'd be running more dungeons and getting more Valor and all that other kind of stuff. But, I don't know.
It's true. It's true. And Blizzard is going to notice, like, okay, are people doing scenarios? Okay, they're not. So what can we do to entice players to do scenarios? And that's pretty much how the game has always been. If they find a lack in something, how can they entice players to do it?
Yep, exactly. And I know that there's more to this conversation, and we're only really scratching the surface here. And I'm sure that we'll be talking about this again. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? We do need to get moving on a little bit anyway. It's probably going to be a short show anyway, but who cares? So we have the Battle.net World Championship. It just got over with, and I don't necessarily have all the information here. But Battle.net World Championship, it is over. Thankfully, because I was up at 2 a.m. watching arena matches.
And not understanding what the heck was going on.
It was so awesome, though. I was like watching, it's Threes Arena, and it was just so brilliant. And they were live streaming it on Twitch, and it was great. And Snuts and company won the arena, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Did you guys see this, Solar? Were you watching this too?
Yeah, I was see up till 4 in. I think I trumped your late night shenanigans.
Yeah, you do.
And yeah, I was watching the wasn't the semifinals. It was like it was a round robin tournament.
Right.
So I was catching the back half of the lower bracket, and there was some good games. Really, really strong MLS comps. That's Mage, Lock, Shaman, by the way. I'm not Mage.
Yes.
MLS teams. Why did I say that?
I don't know.
And no, it was just some really good games. And the thing with arenas is they go so quickly. And unless you've done some PvP or you know what they use a lot of acronyms like HODGE stands for Hammer of Justice, and DRs and he trinketed this, and unless you don't really know much of that stuff, it's very hard to follow.
Right.
So it's good to know some of the background going into it. I know this is a rating podcast, but those threes, man, they get intense and they're really good games to watch. And I could say the same thing about StarCraft. I don't know a lick about StarCraft.
It's amazing to watch.
It's amazing to watch. It's absolutely mind blowing whenever they kill like a vehicle and the crowd just explodes. I'm like, oh, that was so cool, but I had no idea what happened.
Right.
So at least in threes, I actually know what's going on. So
right, a little bit.
How you are with StarCraft is how I am with arena matches.
Right.
It's essentially they're fighting, and for me, when I was watching it, these fights seemed to go on actually for a little while. It was like, they're going on. There's a hodgepodge with the FOG and the blah, and then always getting low with it, always back. Okay, blah blah blah, and then they would go on and go on, and then they would go back. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there was a lot of people like running around, and then they would drink and get back into it. So they're talking about HOG and all this stuff, and I'm saying WTF. I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
But that's fine. But it's really intense to watch, and I gotta say, like arena players. I was watching some YouTube channels about like arena play, and they were basically just talking about the amount of macros, the amount of heads-up gameplay in arena matches. Yep. It's unreal, the amount of stuff. I mean, if you think Raiders have it tough as far as like awareness and raid awareness, arena awareness is unreal. What these guys have to keep track of, and it's split-second decisions. Yeah. Like everything can turn on a dime. So I don't know. Arena matches, they're amazing to watch. It's basically just go, 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 and then somebody dies, and then it's GG, and then, and then it's over. So right. I have no idea what's going on, but I have a lot of respect for these arena players because that level of gameplay is just so intense. It's amazing to watch.
It's fantastic. And if you're a raider and you're not doing PvP of any sort, and you're finding that you're dying to things on the ground, go do some PvP. It's great practice for being extremely aware of your surroundings and being totally in it. Whether you're doing arena or battlegrounds, I don't think it really matters. Of course, arena has its own skill level, which can be pretty intense, as was noted this weekend with the Battle.net World Championship. But But I would suggest that if you are a raider and you want to get better at your class, try PvP. And right now, PvP is not bad right now. It's actually pretty nice pretty easy to get into. It's not as bad as it was in Cataclysm, because I think they give you some resilience and PvP power, with just regular gear.
And speaking of that gear, you can actually buy that gear with Justice points. If you find yourself like capped with Justice points, right? You're at 4,000. What am I going to spend this on? You can go to Orgrimmar if you're Horde, or Stormwind, I'm sure is Alliance, and you can switch out your Justice points for honor points. It's actually the old vendor, the vendor that we had in Cataclysm. Go to that guy, you can switch him out, and with that honor, you can buy the intro kind of PvP gear, which is great. So if you're looking for something to spend all these Justice points on, then get some PvP gear and give it a shot.
Right. And actually, PvP gear is good for off-spec, too. For rating even, because it's not like it was back in Cataclysm, where PvP gear really, really sucks for PvE, and PvE isn't great for PvP. Now they kind of mesh a little bit more. And so PvP gear is acceptable, more acceptable than it was. However, you do want to replace that, but now you're not losing those secondary stats necessarily. So PvP gear is not a big bad thing anymore for raiders.
Don't you be bringing your PvP gear into my raid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not get too much of an idea in their head. You're right. They're not bad, but they're not the best.
Right, I'm not saying they're the best. You want to replace them, but they're not as bad as they were. Would you agree?
You'll find anyway that if you end up getting the Malevolent Gladiators pieces, the 483s, they're harder to replace than the 458s, I believe, are the second set.
Right.
If you're going to get any PvP gear, at least get the purples. I mean, get some Conquest, slap a purple in there. It's a lot harder to replace the
before
purples.
You raid. Yes. I would agree with that.
Don't you be bringing your PvP gear into my raid.
Well, sometimes you got to do it. I don't know. If you're really hurting. You can definitely do that for dungeons, though. That's for sure. People do it all the time. Now, they also did challenge modes between Stars and Supreme Quicksand. I did watch this. They did 3 different challenge modes. Overall time to determine the winner, and Stars won that. And it was actually pretty cool to watch them, to watch both teams in action. I mean, there was some serious stuff. Challenge modes, for those guys who haven't tried it, like myself, got to see what it was like, and hope only that they could do as well as both of those teams, because they are masters of PvE. That is for sure. So, but it was a lot of fun. And
Congrats to Stars.
Yeah, and I think Stars actually only beat them by a little bit. I mean, it wasn't this big, huge window of minutes. I think it was more like seconds.
Right, and that's why I think challenge modes actually has a shot at being an esport. And I know, Solar, you were saying that, like, well, once people figure out the best comps and the best strategy, then it's just going to be the same thing. But I think that you could almost say that with rating in a way, but I think that it's going to come down to literal seconds. It's going to be about which team made 0 mistakes. You know what I mean? And then they're declared the winner. And that's why I think that challenge modes have a shot at being an esport, because you're right. These are high-end, top-end teams, and it comes down to seconds. And I think that is going to be the big nail biter, and it's going to bring the excitement.
Right.
And, challenge modes, these are dungeons. This is something that every single World of Warcraft player has done. So it's something that every single World of Warcraft player understands. Mm-hmm. Maybe not necessarily Arena. Maybe they look at Arena, maybe they don't understand what's going on. Like me. But with challenge modes, this is something we get. It's something we do on a daily basis. So I really do think it's got a shot at being an esport.
Well, and the thing that I like about it is that they do bring all of your gear down to that 463 level. So they completely, the power of all of your items are shrunk down to that 463 level. So you're not going to be out-geared by anybody. Now, there may be a couple of trinkets or whatever that when they pop, they do really awesome things or whatever. But it's all brought down to that 463 area. So that's it. I like it. I like it.
In fact, I got to talk about one nerf that everybody freaked out about.
Okay.
It was with the Dark Moon trinkets. Oh. There was this post that said that they are nerfing all of the Dark Moon trinkets, like the procs. Like let's say it would give 3,000 intellect if you're using the int one, and now it's only going to give like 1,500 or like 2,000, and everyone freaked out. They were like, "What?" Like everyone went crazy, and then Blizzard said, "No. This was for challenge modes. It's for challenge modes." Like, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, all right, we're cool. We're cool. It's just for challenge modes. We're all right." But yeah, it was unreal.
Well, remember, the nerf that we want on this show is to nerf the actual Light of Dawn proc or whatever the heck it is off of that. Please. Just
frag out.
Put it on a dimmer. Please. I go blind.
Literally blind. The entire screen is complete white. It's like white hot searing light.
Right.
So please, Blizzard, please.
Please do it. I don't know. Anything
else?
I
have to wear glasses now because of that proc.
I have to wear sunglasses at night because of that.
Right, exactly. To wear shades while I raid, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes. We should just call you Shades. All
call
night
me
tonight.
Shades. That's right.
All night tonight. Call me Shades. I don't know. All right. Anything else, guys, that you want to talk about this week? All right. Let's move it along.
Leading the raid.
Each and every show, we'll take a look into raid leadership issues for leaders everywhere. Guild, whatever. Raid, Doesn't matter. This week, we have a listener question and the Coltrane. Can you read this for us, please? I know it's the wording is a little weird, but that'd be great.
One thing that was funny in chat room, they were saying 50 Shades of Coltrane. Yes.
Yeah. That is one book that I would not want to read.
Hello. That's right.
I don't want to read the original book.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, here we go. This is from Reckles. Or Reckless, I'm assuming it's probably Reckless, just spelled funny, on Tenaris, US. He says, hey there, guys. I was just listening to your legendary episode number 43.
Yes.
Urge all of you to check out, where we detailed the legendary quest for Dragon Wrath. Did a whole bunch of sounders and craziness and all that stuff.
Yes.
And he was reminded of a question. So I've been really curious about the difference in loot systems, particularly Democratic versus Republic.
This is a little weird, people. This is a little weird. This is a different way of thinking about it. So go ahead.
This is where with the former, you give the gear to the least geared person who needs it for their main spec. And where with the latter, you give it to the most geared person who needs it.
Right.
What do you recommend? Right now, we're currently using an add-on for looting called Suicide Kings. Basically, there's a list where once you get a piece, you move to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
It's old SK.
And there was a lot more to this letter, but I just kind of wanted to give you the basics of it. So we're talking about two different systems. One he calls Democratic, the other Republic. Democratic is where you give it to the least geared person, and the Republic is the most geared person so that they can do the most DPS ever, right?
Right. Now, Zug, you're in a bit of a swing state here, so what do you think about this?
Yes. Here's my thoughts on it. If you only give loot to the most geared people, how will that make the least geared people feel? How long will the least geared people want to continue raiding with you? Now, we can all say that loot doesn't mean anything. It's all about boss kills.
Not true.
Not true at all. People love getting gear. Come on. That's what we've been trained to love gear. Oh. So, I mean, how can you not want gear? So if you can't get gear ever because you're the least geared raider, and that means you're going to never get gear, why would you want to play in a group like that? I don't know. Solar Flare, what's your thoughts on this thing?
Well, this is always a very fickle subject, and everyone has their own opinion, of course. And I guess there's really no clear-cut answer as to what the best thing to do here is. But I've always been of the firm belief that no matter who gets the piece of loot, in some way, shape, or form is an upgrade to the team. And raiding is a team effort. And to make that team stronger, that is better in any situation.
Right.
And that's all I have to say about that, because that's what I believe in.
Well, and, we kind of see this in raid teams from time to time where they do a loot council or something like that, and then only the loot council gets loot. I mean...
Right.
And it's like, well,
that's true.
Maybe we need to change the council.
Right. Well, I think that I think there's also a difference here between 10-man and 25. Because in 10-man, it's a lot easier to manage. Now, the way we've kind of been doing it with the Asparagus Initiative is we've been kind of doing with what Solar is saying. Where basically, who's it a bigger upgrade for, and then that person would get the gear. Now, if you've got two people that say both have 463s, like we're heading into Heart of Fear, that boss drops bracers. I know myself and Solar both have 463 bracers. It'll be an upgrade for both of us. So what we do, if it's an upgrade for both, then we just roll. And whoever wins the roll wins. So that's kind of how we've been doing it, where whoever's got, like, if Solar had a 450, then Solar would get it. Because him gearing up helps the team. It's not about individuals, it's about the team. But I gotta say, we're a 10-man. This is so much easier to manage than if you're in a 25. In a 25, it's near impossible, I would assume, to be able to, player number 14 has a little bit less eye level compared to player number 22, but player 3 has, it'd be just impossible. So you need some type of system there going forward.
And they do say that they're using Suicide Kings right now, which I think is actually really great. Because Suicide Kings, especially when you're dealing with a larger group, where it's tougher to make, like, democratic decisions about who should get loot. Suicide Kings is great because it is a list-based system. If you are first on the list and you bid for an item, you get that item.
Right.
And then you go to the bottom of the list. So then you're not going to be winning for a while. You can still bid
Right.
on stuff, and if nobody wants it, then you can have it. But I think that's a great way to do it, to make sure that it evens out the loot, right?
Yeah. In fact, that's how my old raid team, Drunk with Power, we did Suicide Kings.
Mm-hmm.
And what was great about that system was you were guaranteed loot. At some point, no matter what, you are going to get an item, no matter what. There's never going to be a RNG. I always roll low because of RNG. Like, that will never happen.
Right.
Suicide Kings worked beautifully in that sense, that there was that master list. Once you get loot, you go to the bottom of the list. And then the person who is second is now first, which means the next piece of loot that drops, they can put in a little bid, and they've got it, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's a great system.
And I've seen this for 10-mans, too. So, I mean, don't think that if you're running a 10-man that you can't use it. But in a 10-man, especially if you're dealing with people that understand that this is about upgrades for the team and not necessarily for the person, I think that most 10-mans can usually say, you know what, I don't need that. I don't need that, so if it's an upgrade for you, take it. Because I got this other piece that's like the LFR version of this piece, whatever it is. So I think in a 10-man, it's a little bit easier to figure it out yourselves, whereas in a 25, not so much.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have drama. The more people you have, the more drama you're going to have, the more personalities.
Wait. There's drama in raiding? No!
What?
Never.
Outrageous.
Never. I don't know. So, Solar Flare, do you have a favorite system other than just the straight roll for it?
Yeah, I love the straight roll.
Yep.
But if I had to choose an actual system, Suicide Kings tops them all in my humblest of opinions. Suicide Kings is very good.
Yep. I would agree.
There's so many. A lot of people like EBGP, because it rewards the people that show up every single week. They get more points that they can spend on loot. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many different, systems out there. And this is a constant thing that WoW has been afflicted with, and that is loot drama. And that will continue going into the future. I think the steps that they've taken, at least with LFR, has helped that situation because it's no longer, with LFR based on the player. It's just on Blizzard. You get mad at Blizzard. All you're getting is gold. Get mad at Blizzard that you're not getting, not at other players. So,
well, and it was funny, that post that I mentioned before with the guy with 9 different level 90 tunes. He also said that his RNG in LFR is, his chances of winning loot. He's so sick of seeing only 28 gold every single time, and I'm like, you know what? That's the way the system works. That's why you get those charms, so you can get more chances. All that, I don't know.
Right. I mean, you can't sit here and say, like, I'm so upset, this is so much time, when you've got 9 90s. Like,
I know. It's like,
I mean, come on.
I don't have time for all those dailies. Well, why did you put up 9 90s? Come on.
Right.
Why
exactly.
don't you play
Zarum
one?
had a great response.
Why don't you play one for a little bit? I don't know. So, anyway, we should probably move it along.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us, about raiding or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line, Wake the Skeleton, over there at 612-787-RAID. Or you can join us during our live show, PM one of the guys. We'll see if we can get to it during the show here. Solar Filet, you want to do the first one here?
Yeah, let me try and find it. Just under the Q&A? Is that what we're looking at here?
Okay,
this is from Nindudum. Pandaren Shaman.
I like
on
that name.
Shoe Hollow, US. I love when people come from Shoe Hollow, because I really can't even believe it's a realm. Like, does anyone even actually play on that realm?
Right.
You just never hear about it.
We have a few fans
Shoe
on that realm.
Hollow.
So
it's a Hawaiian.
Like
it's like Mahalo. Same deal.
Oh, it's Shahalo.
Yeah, like Shahalo, man.
It's just for Shah.
Right.
I don't know.
All right.
Go ahead, Solar.
Okay, so, hey guys, love the show. I feel like the tabards are underutilized. I love equipping various tabards, but I hate having them take up bag space. I know you can go buy tabards you previously owned from the tabard sellers in various cities, but why not make them like the pet mount system? Feels like whenever I get a tabard as a reward, I just go get rid of it. And would just like to toggle which ones I'm wearing at any given time.
They were actually talking about doing this.
Oh, this has been on their agenda for quite some time now. People have always wanted tabards to work just like titles have. You just have them on your character screen, and you got to choose which one you wanted. And I agree, that's a good system.
Right.
There's a lot of neat tabards in the game, but they just sit in my void storage now.
Right. Well, it's the same way with pets now. I mean, they have
sure,
that for pets.
That was introduced later. But yeah, it's a good system to have it all compiled into one.
Right.
Nice, handy interface. And they've talked about it. They said they wanted to do it. It's just a matter of time and patience.
Yes. They're working on it.
I don't know how hard, but they're working on it. Apparently. They know it's out there. And
again, even Ghostcrawler said that he'd like to do this. It'd be just like titles. It'd be a great thing. So I really, this is just a matter of time. This is something that they want to do, something they're going to do. It's just going to take time.
They were talking about that at BlizzCon last year, weren't they? I mean, it seems like it was at least that long ago.
This is at least 2 years. This is at least 2 years coming.
Maybe it was 2 years ago, BlizzCon. I don't know.
They said it was going to come out at the same time as...
What's that called?
It's supposed to come out at the same time as the Dance Studio, so it should be fine. Right around the
same.
Yeah,
and that's coming up quick.
I mean, it's on the box of Cataclysm. It says Dance Studio. It's on the box!
What you missed from getting the digital download.
That's right.
That's what I missed.
But I want to bring this up, and I probably should have done this earlier. But speaking of Blizzard trying, I got a very disturbing mail today when I logged in, and I was actually quite flabbergasted that this would even... I don't know why. It just really left a really nasty taste in my mouth.
Right.
And I logged on, and it's the 8th anniversary for World of Warcraft, and I was excited to see what was in the mail. I wasn't expecting anything big. They haven't done a pet or anything like that in a while. And I log in, and I read my mail, and it was like, Defender, Cataclysm is right around the corner. With the new dragon aspect on the loose. Oof. The Defender Shattered World needs saving, and I'm just sitting here with my jaw to the floor. They used the same rehashed letter from last year's Cataclysm and Azerothian events in this year's letter.
That's not good.
I was flabbergasted. I don't care if I didn't get anything in my mail. The fact that they even just put that letter in there was just a slap in the face. I was so upset.
What?
That has got to be a glitch or a bug or something going on there.
A joke. Maybe it's a joke.
It can't be,
it's
because
a horrible
the
joke.
item that they give you was the 8% experience and rep. Like last year's was 7. This one's 8. So they obviously know that something was going on.
Right.
But just that they used the same letter. I mean, they could have... I don't care if it was 2 in the morning. You could have whipped something quick up like Happy Panda Day and sent that off, and I would have been more happy with that.
Happy Panda Day. I think we just titled the show.
There it is. Happy Panda Day.
No, but this has got to be weird. I mean, I'm sure that they were like, trying to rewrite last year's letter or something like that, and then they got called off to the China thing. To the Battle.net World Championship. There was an emergency. They got distracted. That never happens with anybody around here.
I don't know. I just felt very dejected.
It's not good.
I just felt so dejected. I mean, it's their 8th year anniversary. Like, I don't care. I don't need a pet. I don't need a mount. I don't need a tabard. I don't need any of that. But just to know that they were actually there.
Right.
And that they sent me the Cataclysm letter, I was just like, man, that's a slap in the face. Cold hard slap.
Wow. This is amazing. I don't know. Like, I haven't logged in yet, so I haven't seen my mail. But I don't know, for me, like, I guess maybe I take things with a smile. Like, I think maybe it's a joke. If it's intentional, I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know. I don't take it as a slap in the face and, this and that.
I hope it's a bug because that's really not cool for to use the exact same letter and update it and send it out. Because they updated it. I mean,
that's kind of funny, though.
It seems like a really poor choice of joke if it is. I mean, that's...
Don't you dare say fortune cookie. Don't you dare say, like, a bad fortune cookie.
It's just... There's no such thing as a good fortune cookie, first of all.
There are great fortune cookies, sir.
What? No.
How dare you, sir?
No, there are not.
Well, it says in the chat room, see, this is great. because I like that we've got this chat room here, because right now, as we're talking about this, the chat room is logging in.
Right.
And they're checking their mail, and the chat room's exploding right now.
Right.
And everyone is saying that they did not update it. It's like the exact same letter. Mm-hmm. How disappointing. I agree, Solar. CTR throwdown. This is unbelievable.
Quick, everybody back to Dragon Soul. Let's go. We didn't kill him.
I mean, it was
we gotta knock him down.
Mini Christmas or birthday. I logged in, excited kid. Like I said, I don't care what I got. I just wanted to know that I got something, a little recognition for me playing this game for so long. And I just looked at it. It was like 5 a.m. My hair was all tousled up. I was ready to read it. And I was just, man, what a letdown.
Tousled.
So.
Tousled up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
right,
moving on. That was just my thing I wanted to talk about.
Well, it's kind of weird to wake up and have something in your mail and you go, oh, I have something in my mail and I'm totally unexpecting anything in my mail. Let me open it. Last year.
Yeah, like the closing line is get out there and defend a shattered world. Like I was just like, you could hear my jaw hitting the floor. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's no good.
But anyway, all right, let's move on.
I love
Devona
in the chat room says, quick, to the forum!
Let's
go.
Let's
I'm
all
sure
go
they're
to the
getting a earful of it right now.
Let's all go to the forums. All right. Let's move it along, though. And Coltrane, can you grab this next question, please?
Sure. This is from Sinroot Horde on the Gilnea server. Good server. Hey, CTR crew. With the arrival of the Valor upgrade system in 5.1, do you guys think that the term best in slot will be more or less popular amongst players? Perhaps it will just be the same as it is now. Maybe, maybe not. Love the show, guys, and keep doing what you do.
Yep. And that's from Sinroot. Yes, on
Good question.
So now, does this change the way that we're going to take a look at gear at all, Solar Flare? What do you think?
No, I don't think so, because what you're doing is you're just upgrading more stats with these Valor points. So instead of getting, let me use an example. Item 1 has 100 strength and 57 haste. Item 2 has 100 strength and, what did I say, 50?
57.
57 mastery. And I play a hunter and I want the mastery. That's still going to be my best in slot, even after I upgrade it. Because I'm getting the mastery instead of the haste, that's still the best in slot item for me. I want that more secondary stat. It's better than the haste at this point. So I still don't think that the term best in slot is going to be used more loosely or more conservatively. Items are still going to be, when upgraded, your best in slot because of the stats they have on them.
Sure.
Right. So
now you're going to have your best in slot is such and such a piece with the upgrade.
Oh,
exactly.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but I think that goes without saying, right? If you upgrade your best in slot, it's still going to be best in slot.
Sure. But instead of like, I don't know, another piece with a higher item level, when it's when it's normal, but if there's a lesser piece and then you upgrade it 8 points, then all of a sudden it becomes the best. You're still going to have it.
In fact, here's an example actually that I just ran into just this weekend. So in Heart of Fear, Garelion drops a 483 headpiece. Now, I had a 463, right? Mm-hmm. So this is going to sound confusing. Will the Emperor drops a 476 headpiece, but stat-wise, as far as it's got like haste and hit or something like that on it, it's lower eye level than what drops from Garelion, which is a 483, but the stats are much better off the Will of the Emperor one.
Right.
So when I upgrade that Will of the Emperor, it's going to be way better than the one that even though the Garelion's got a higher eye level, the Will of the Emperor one is going to be so much better, like Solar was saying, because of the stats that carry over.
Right.
So you're right. Nothing's going to change. It's just now it's going to be like, well, this item when upgraded was the new best in slot. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm basically just saying everything that you guys are saying, so just cut me out completely. I mean, really.
No.
It's the same BS, but just more confusing. That's pretty much what I bring to the show.
Well, and it does depend on those secondary stats. I mean, a lot of the best in slot items, it's because of those secondary stats. And so if you're finding that you have those secondary stats and you can upgrade those, why wouldn't that be better? So that's it. That's it. Now we have one from Tiana, another letter, and this one's kind of weird and a little sad for me. she says, I have played WoW since launch, and it was the same, and was with the same guild till just shortly after the release of Dragon Soul. I had a horrible car accident, spent months in the hospital, but with the support of my family, I've fully recovered, which is great. Glad to hear that. The reason I'm emailing the show is that I came back to the game not long after MOP released and have found myself no longer welcome in my guild. I lost an arm in the accident, but I've trained myself to play pretty well for only having one hand. My old guild says that I can't be as productive as I once was and should find another home. Well, I've decided to start fresh, made a new account, currently playing on Earthen Ring. 2 questions. Number 1, what would possess a guild to turn away one of their own like that? And do you guys have Number 2, do you guys have a suggestion on where I could find a good guild on Earthen Ring?
This frustrates me so much. Can I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, I am so angered at your old guild right now. I am absolutely livid. I know you can't hear it, but I am fuming.
I can hear it.
Their WoW Insider used to do articles. It was like, This Week in Amazing World of Warcraft or something like that. And they would take players that have, like, there was a quadriplegic hunter who got, like, Realm First Yogg One Light, like Death's Demise. Like, there are some amazing players out there with disabilities, absolutely amazing people.
Yes.
And more often than you know, because you really don't. Not many people, say, I've got this, or this ailment. They just do their thing, and they're great at it.
Yeah.
The fact that they would shun you because of that, they have no idea. I bet I could bring that hunter in, that quadriplegic. He's like 95% paralyzed, and he would run circles around all of them.
Right. Yeah.
So to hear this, yes, I am just so upset. Like, that's
sickening.
Not even. It is kind of sickening. That is a really good word. You're more than welcome on Earthen Ring to join our guild. Absolutely more than welcome. Nobody's going to shun you because of this. Absolutely nobody.
Right.
And if they do, you can tell them to talk to me, and I'll work that out.
Right.
That is so upsetting to hear about. I'm absolutely sorry for all of that.
Right.
That's all I had to say. I got off track a little bit.
No, that's okay. It's okay to get off track a little bit because I think the emotions do run a little high with this question. We're seeing it in the chat room as well. I think that's inexcusable to say you can't contribute, so you're done. And that's not true. They're saying that they learn to play pretty well, and I'm guessing that with practice you only get better, right? You're having to retrain yourself on how to play a game. And I've seen it as well, where people with disabilities, and are using different tools to make their gameplay better, and they're performing at high levels, which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your situation, I'd recommend like foot pedals. You can find there's foot pedals that you can use your feet to hit various buttons, and also one of those mice, like a Razer Naga. You know what I mean? That's got like tons of buttons on it that you can all manipulate with one hand.
Yep.
Now, if you're left-handed like myself, you might have an issue, but they're coming out with a left-handed Naga supposedly in 2013, so that's good news. But foot pedals are really going to help you out, and a multi-button mouse will also really help your gameplay. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I mean, with everybody here, I mean, this behavior is just inexcusable. I mean, it's ridiculous. So the guild is obviously the problem. It's not you. You've done nothing wrong. In fact, I think it's fantastic that with your current new situation that you're not using it as an excuse. You're not saying, well, I can't play World of Warcraft because of this, disability. You're still pushing forward, and that's a great thing. Don't ever let it be an excuse. You can do anything that anybody else can do with two hands. Just stay strong with it, and you can absolutely do it.
Right.
So, yeah.
And as far as guilds on Earthen Ring, there are a lot of really great guilds, I think. I mean, AIE, yeah, sure, we're all part of AIE, and absolutely, if you'd like to be in a large community like that, feel free to apply. You can definitely do that. But there are lots of great guilds there, and too many to mention, as far as I know. And they all have different ideas of what their game is. I mean, there are some PvP ones. There are some Spanish-speaking guilds as well, and there are people all around the world really have come to Earthen Ring, which is great for a lot of different reasons. And there are lots of different guilds. So I just suggest that you go and see what's going to be the best fit for you. I know that's a generic question, or a generic answer for me, but Some people, AIE might not work.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I would say another guild that's good, it's on Wormrest Accord, is Reckoning. The Tarn Think Tank podcast, their guild.
Yeah.
I've got my Frost DK in there, and it's phenomenal people. It's really, really good people over there. So
I leveled up my hunter.
Is this even real? Like, I'm reading this email again, and I just can't even believe what scum. Like, I can't believe this.
You're seeing red. Incredulous. You're seeing red. I know. Yeah. I know how it goes. Emotions run high. It's just one of those.
Next question, please.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Here I have one more question. I think. Hold on one second. Here's one from Zyle in the chat room. How far do you guys think how far do you think there will be time-wise between this tier of rating and the next? So when do you think we're just seeing the heroics of what's it called? I can't even think. After that last question, but we're just seeing all of the rating come out now. We're finally getting to those end bosses. How long until the next raid tier do you guys think?
Well, let's see. So it's been 2 months since MOP has been released. And 5.1 has just been marked for release candidate. And they've done this with prior patches where it was released and then it wasn't released. And then it was released again.
Yeah.
I had to bet it would be before the New Year's we're going to see patch 5.1. Before or just about around.
Sure.
I would say give that, because there's no raid content, my assumption is the content being delivered in patch 5.1 is going to be substantial enough to keep players in it for another 3 or so months.
Okay.
And then they're going to release the second tier of raiding. And I don't really know what it's going to be. I haven't heard anything about the new raid tier. Because I don't think we're going... Are we really going directly to Garrosh after this?
I don't think anybody knows right now. I don't think
anybody knows. So who knows what the raid team is doing right now? Who knows?
Right. Well, if it follows the regular pattern, I mean, you basically have 3 tiers of rating. I mean, that's the way it's been for the last, few expansions. So if we extrapolate and say, okay, well, this one might be a raid tier that builds up to that final tier of rating. So maybe it has something to do with whatever Garrosh is doing, but not necessarily battling Garrosh himself. Maybe. So, Coltrane, what do you think as far as timing-wise we're looking at for for the next tier of rating?
I think probably next week, like this Tuesday.
Right.
I think it's all going to drop.
Because Rob Pardo said that the next expansion was coming at beginning
new
of
expansion.
2013.
Right. I don't know if you heard, Rob Pardo said we're going to space. That's what he said. It's Warcraft
in
space.
Again?
Yeah, that's where we're headed. We're going to space.
Oh, no.
No, it's not going to be for a while, and I sure as heck hope it's not for a while because I am just loving this content right now. So let's keep this ball rolling. We got plenty of bosses here.
Right.
We got plenty of bosses.
Yep.
Marchy sounds about good.
And
in the wee hours of the spring season, I think I'd come around there.
Spring, yeah, right. Because I mean, from everything that I've heard and seen about patch 5.1, they're planning on it coming out sometime in the holiday season. I think that's what, and especially now that we're seeing, the latest patch, that this is a release candidate. That sounds about right. Sometime after Thanksgiving, before Christmas, somewhere in there, have lots of stuff for people to do in their little vacations and stuff like that. So,
absolutely.
I don't know. All right, I think that is about it for the show. Thanks for the questions, everybody. Thank you very much. And let's get to some 5-star reviews. And Sola Flay, what do we got?
Sure. Let me scroll down a wee bit. Okay, here we go. We have some wonderful 5-star, felt with care and loving affection reviews from a freaking ninja, Zig Wink, Paldini, Dirty Jello. That's the worst one. What if there was actual, you opened up a cup of Jello
and it was dirty,
and there was just dirt and grime and muck in it.
Nice.
Well, it won't be from Hostess anymore, I can tell you that.
We have 2 more loving, affectionate 5-star reviews from Alejandro Ortiz and Skakor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
For those delicious. Can I eat them? Those delicious 5-star reviews.
Yes, you can eat the 5-star reviews, but you can't eat a Twinkie anymore. So there you go.
That's okay.
But we cannot do this show without you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thank you so much for the questions today. Really appreciate it. And feel free to join in on every single question or every single conversation we're having at any time. And it's time to kill that music.
You're just gonna bail out.
Gotta bail
out of that.
Gotta bail out of that. Gotta bail out of that. And I gotta pick a new song. Here we go. I'll do this one. This one's nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't do this one a lot. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid or individually Coltrane. What are those individuals?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Solar Flare at _Solar Flare.
Right on. And if you can't spell our names, you should join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by signing up at converttoraid.com. It's powered by Engine, and you can jump in on all the conversations or make one of your own in our lovely forums. And remember, we're also doing forums now we're in transition. We're still doing the beta over at signalsmedia.com. Those forums will be moving over at some point down the road. But on our site, we have tons of links for Raiders, our shows there, our shows at Stitcher, BlackBerry Podcast Directory, Zune, iTunes, all those different kinds of places too. So, yeah, go check it out, converttoraid.com. That's going to be it for the show. Thank you so much for listening to Convert to Raid. We hope you had a good time. And before we go, anything big going on this fine week for you two gentlemen?
Elegon.
Elegon. Elegon, the big sparkly dinosaur guy. Dragon.
He's going down. He's going down.
All right.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
There we go. We'll see. Convert to Raid was written in part by all the guys on the show. Pat Crane. I'm hopeful.
Come on. You got to visualize success.
I'm very hopeful.
Come on.
I am. Convert to Raid was written in part by all the guys on the show, Pat Crane, Coltrane, and the Solar Flare. The Convert to Raid theme music arranged and produced by me. Segments found at the end of this show. Those are produced by you guys. The amazing, the talented, the Convert to Raid community. Can't thank you guys enough for contributing to the show. The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends on the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. And yes, there is a mega feed coming very, very soon for those guys that want that. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time. We will be doing that, even though next week is Thanksgiving for us, I believe. Sunday, 11 a.m. Central. 11 a.m. Central, uploaded by Monday at some point. For all the guys that Convert to Raid, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. It's just that easy. I'm just going to play a little bit of music in case
It's just that easy. That needs to be like a raid team name or something. It's just that easy.
It's just that easy. Thank you so much, chat room, for coming out. Really appreciate you guys being here.
Chat room. You
keep us in check.
Chat room's great, man. They're like literally like the fourth host. They're great.
Right. No, they are, and it's great seeing so many people join in on the live show and talking with each other during the show and talking to us at the same time. So it's it's all
really
good.
Neat.
I love it.
I really like that. Like when we're talking about something, and then I like seeing in the chat room like this huge conversation in the chat room, and they're talking about it and they're talking to us, like just like you said. I think it just gets me all like,
Coltrane, are you nuts? What is going on?
There is a lot of that. It's pretty much just that.
Right.